And as always, we'll record the call and then we'll post it on our social media so that you can watch it later if you miss something, if you want to just go back and visit what we talked about today. So like I said, we have a pretty big agenda. We're going to talk about academic counseling, class registration, and math placement, some important information you want to know before you get here. We also have some guests joining us from Residence Life to talk about housing. We also have our student health insurance representative, Kathy St. Mary, joining us. Health insurance from country to country can be very complicated and different, so we want to make sure that you get some introduction information to how health insurance works for you. We'll go through some visa reminders, talk about some different portals you'll use while you're at St. Thomas. And then, of course, we'll talk about arrival, move-in, and orientation. Just some reminders as you prepare to come to St. Thomas in probably what, 2.5, 3 months? I'm not good at math. And then we'll talk about some important dates. Okay. So I just wanted to really quickly talk about who's on the call today. If you're here and you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. Amanda, are you here?
I'm Amanda. I oversee a couple people on the call for your admission process, but I'm glad to see a lot of you back again. And me and John will be in the chat answering questions if you have them too.
And John?
There's my mute button. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Good to see all these names in the chat and in the Zoom room. I'm an international admissions counselor. So I've worked with a lot of you and so excited to have you here at St. Thomas soon.
Thanks, John. Lou can't join us today, but I don't know if is Anju here? Anju, if you're here, maybe not. That's okay. Hien, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi everyone, my name is Him. I'm the international recruitment specialist for the Southeast Asia. I'm help taking care of the student in Southeast Asia. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Thanks, Hien. And then I do just want to quickly also introduce our OISS staff. Miho, you here?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miho Patani, Director of International Student and Scholar Services. So once you all come to St. Thomas, and I oversee the advising team, and we look forward to working with you all.
Paul?
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul. I'm the immigration specialist with the team, so I'm here to support you in your immigration journey prior to your arrival. But then when you get here, I support you in advising you on how to maintain your F1 status and uh, juggle all the regulatory requirements you'll have to follow as an F1 student.
And of course, I'm Tina. I'm also an international student advisor, so I'll help you maintain your F1 status. We're here to support you. And then last but not least, Erin.
Good morning. My name is Erin Tebben, and I work as an international student advisor here in the office. Super happy to be part of this call, and I can't wait to meet some of you.
Okay, and it looks like we also have, I think, at least two current students. So Sophie, Bao, if you guys want to introduce yourself, we will have time towards the end of the call for you guys to talk a little bit about your experience. But I was just hoping you could introduce yourself, maybe really quickly, name, major, home country, something like that. Sophia, you want to go first?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sofia. I'm from Italy. I'm the international admissions intern here in OISS. And yeah, I'm a digital media arts and music business double major with a game design minor. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to help you.
Bao?
Hi, my name is Wook Bao Nguyen. I'm an international student from Vietnam, majoring in biochemistry. Um, I am going to be an international orientation leader in the fall, so it's nice to meet you guys.
So I know you probably all have a lot of questions for Sophie and Bao, but they'll join us again towards the end. Hopefully we have time for some questions and answers and some fun information that Sophie and Bao can share. But we do, like I mentioned, we do have quite a lot to cover. So I want to start out with some of some of the logistical. Oh, Asha, sorry. Asha, are you here? I didn't see you.
No, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Asha. I'm a senior here at the University of St. Thomas studying health sciences with a minor in nutrition. Yeah, so if you guys have questions about the health sciences, nursing, any of that, I'm your gal. So if you have questions, I'll be here towards the end of the book call.
All right. Thanks, Asha. Thanks, Sophie and Bao. We do want to cover some important logistical type information. And so you'll be working with three of our academic counselors. You might have had communications from them. Stephanie Fernando, Kathy Hawks, or Mark Strict. They are the academic counselors that work with international students. They couldn't join us today, but I did ask them if they could share some important information for you all. And so what they asked me to share is on the slide here. So one thing they asked was to please complete and submit your course preference form if you haven't done so already. And if you have questions about this course preference form, you can contact their office, academic counseling at stthomas.edu. They also mentioned that it's a good idea if you check your email, your St. Thomas email, sometime towards the end of July. That's when they're going to be sending out your class schedules for fall. Now, I know you're probably anxious to see which classes you're registered in, and things like that. But they did ask me to remind you all that the schedule that you see, maybe within Murphy, may change a little bit. And so that's why they wanted to remind you that the end of July would be the best time to look out for your schedules. And the other thing that I wanted to mention too about academic counseling is when you get to campus, we're going to be having a full orientation schedule just for you. And when you arrive that Monday and Tuesday, you'll actually have time to go to academic counseling and meet with one of the academic counselors if you have questions about your schedule. Academic counseling is just downstairs from our office, and Sophie and Bao, they'll be there to help guide you to that office. But like I said, we have designated times where you can go speak to one of the academic counselors if you have any questions, okay? And then if we have any transfer students on the call, I have an important reminder. For transfer students only, you will need to meet with an academic counselor to register for your classes. And so what you can do is contact the front desk at academic counseling at stthomas.edu to schedule a time. Okay. And so again, submitting that course preference form is very helpful. For those of you that have started the orientation course on Canvas, which we'll talk about a little bit later, they have a really great video on how to fill out the course preference form. It's a step-by-step video, and it's visual for those of you that are visual learners like myself. So if you have questions about that course preference form in your orientation module on something called Canvas, which is what we'll talk about later, you can watch that video, and it's a very helpful step-by-step guide. Okay, and so when you log into your application page, you might see something like an enrollment checklist, and Amanda or John, you may need to fill in for me here. I'm not an admissions person, but in your enrollment checklist, you might see some of these pop up. And so you might see something like math placement, chemistry placement, or the language placement assessment. But academic counseling had just asked to remind you all that STEM majors really should pay special attention to the math information. So STEM majors need to take calculus, and to do so, you will need a math placement score, okay? And this should already be in your application page, but if you have questions about math placement, the best thing to do is send an email to mathplacement@stthomas.edu, and they'll be able to answer any questions you have about that. But you should have already had information in your portal if math placement applies to you. Okay. And of course, you can always reach out with questions, but math placement at stthomas.edu would be another great place to reach out to.
And if you took an SAT or something else that already places you in math, then you just won't see that on your checklist because each checklist for each student is specific to you. So what you need to do. So if your friend doesn't have something but you do, or vice versa, that's okay. This is just for you. And you can always ask myself, John, or anybody in international admissions to start, but academic counseling is wonderful.
Thank you, Amanda. And I just wanted to highlight too a couple of things you see on this screenshot. We'll talk a little bit about this in the coming calls, but one thing I really want to encourage you to do is in this screenshot where it says upload your photo for your Tommy ID card. We'll talk about this again on the third and the fourth call, and we'll remind you quite a few times, but this is one of the most important things you can do is to upload your photo so that we can pick up your cards before you arrive and so that we can get you your card so you can get into your assigned room. It just makes the process a lot smoother and easier. So please, if you can, maybe take a photo, find a photo and upload it to your Tommy ID card. And if you have any questions too, feel free to type them in the chat. Otherwise, you can also unmute yourself too if you have any questions. Okay, so I'd like to now turn it over to Kathy St. Mary. She's the insurance specialist in the Center for Wellbeing. We know health insurance can be truthfully confusing, and so I just wanted to invite Kathy here just to kind of go over the basics of health insurance at St. Thomas for international students. Kathy?
Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say good morning to everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever applies to you. Health insurance is a very important part of your life here on at St. Thomas. Health insurance is required for all J1 and F1 students. F1 students do have an option to use their own health insurance if it meets the requirements. So just to give you a little overview of what's going on, I can let you know that the fall coverage. Oh, do you have a question? Oh, no. The fall coverage is going to run from August 1st and runs through January 14th of 2017. And that the approximate cost of that this year for that semester is gonna be $1,102. And the great thing about this is it's a very good health insurance plan. It's gonna cover everything all care that you would get here on campus. Including we have physical therapy, we have psychiatrists, we have doctors, we have nurse practitioners, we have a dietitian, we also have a counseling and psychological services. And we also have health promotion, which offers lots of programming to help keep you healthy. So I don't know if people have specific questions about the health insurance. It does include a drug policy for medications. So prescription drugs are included. You do have to pay a copay. It's very important that you do have very good health insurance here because the health system here is possibly quite different than where you're coming from. Everything runs through health insurance, so it's important that you have good coverage to cover your health costs. Is there anyone that has any questions?
Hi, Kathy. Yes, I have a question. I was wondering whether the health insurance covers any accidents that could happen outside of campus. Like, could I get treatment in a Minnesota hospital?
Question. Yes. So the plan does cover 100% for care here at the Center for Wellbeing, but it also has great coverage through what's called the United Healthcare Network, which is a giant health insurance network that's nationwide. So you can get care across the nation. If you get care outside of the clinic or outside of the campus, there will be some costs to you, but the majority of the costs will be covered by the health insurance. But you do need to be aware that you do have a $200 deductible. So deductible means how much you have to spend just once during the whole policy year before the insurance starts to pay. And after that, then they pay 80% of the cost and you pay 20. But yeah, you're covered. If you even are traveling to another state and you have an accident or you're ill, yes, you still do have coverage there. That's a really great question. Thanks for asking.
Does anyone else have any other questions right now? I know this can be really confusing. Kathy's also hopefully going to join us during orientation. We'll have something called a resource fair, and we'll talk about that a little bit later today, where you can possibly open a US bank account if you need to, or set up a US phone plan. We also have other campus partners that will be joining us, and Kathy will be joining us to answer any questions you have about health insurance. And on the next pre-arrival call, hopefully this encourages you to join us for the next one. We'll also have members from the Center for Wellbeing, which is our on-campus health services. They'll be joining us as well to talk about health services on campus. Okay. If you have any questions, I did put the email on the screen here, student health, it's stuhealthins@stthomas.edu. That would be a great place to start if you have any questions about navigating your health insurance. So Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, sorry. There's a lot of information, so there's no way I can go over everything or even a little bit, but please reach out to me. I'm happy to answer your questions, individually, and you'll hear more information on the upcoming calls and at orientation.
Thanks, Kathy. Okay. So we kind of want to keep moving because we've got a lot of information to cover. I wanted you to put a couple of dates on your calendar. So if you use your phones or if you use a traditional, paper planner, that's great, but you should have already received emails about this, but I wanted to just make sure that you put this somewhere you're going to remember it. On Thursday, July 23rd, for those of you that maybe are in Southeast Asia, this is probably not the best time for you. I'm so sorry. But like I said before, the International Student Office, we have our own orientation, but St. Thomas also has its own orientation. So you're going to hear the word orientation a few times. On Thursday, July 23rd, from 8:45 a.m. to noon, there'll be a virtual orientation session that's required of all first-time first years. So you should have already received communication about this, but you will receive an email with the link to join the session a few days prior. This session is going to cover a lot of information from registration, maybe housing, all kinds of information. The thing with this is, though, it is required to attend. If you don't attend, if you look at towards the bottom of the screen, if you don't attend, you'll be registered for a August 20th virtual session. If you can't attend that date, you'll be registered for an orientation makeup course in Canvas. And these sessions are required because if you don't complete these sessions, you'll have a hold on your account, which means you can't register for spring courses. Okay, so do your best to attend. If you're a first year student, do your best to attend the July 23rd call. And if you're a transfer student, you'll be attending a call on July 28th. And this is the same time, 8:45 in the morning to 12 noon. And this is Central Standard Time or Minnesota time. Again, these are both required. Okay, so you're gonna hear the word orientation a few times. And so I just wanted you to know that we've got two kind of different orientation sessions happening, one in the summer and then one when you join us here at the end of August. Okay. If you have any questions, please let us know. Okay, so you're probably all wondering what's happening when we arrive on campus. So August 29th is Arrival Day, which we'll talk about here a little bit later. Our International Student Orientation runs from August 29th to September 2nd. I have the full schedule posted online, so you can go ahead and click that link and you'll see all kinds of events that we'll be doing, from a picnic to going to Target, which is a big department store where you can buy literally everything from shoes to snacks to medicine to books. It has everything. You can see the full schedule, which is posted now. And so you'll be able to see kind of on what days, what are we doing, what do we have planned. But what I wanted to do is I also wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of you are probably curious about, which is housing assignments. And so I've invited Ben Clark and Zoe Chang to join us from Residence Life. Are you here?
Yes, good morning,
Zoe?
everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to let you take it from here. We have Ben and Zoe joining us from Residence Life, and I'm sure you probably are really curious about your housing assignments and where you're going to be living. So I'm going to let Ben and Zoe take it from here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Zoe, do you want to do introductions first?
Sure. So my name is Zoe Chang. I'm one of our associate directors for Residence Life. So I primarily work with housing assignments, um, the operational side of you all living on campus. So keys, access, billing, housing exception request. So some of that side.
Yeah, and my name is Ben Clark. I am the Living Learning Programs Manager in Residence Life. So I work a lot with incoming first year students and helping kind of navigate some of those processes as you prepare to join us on campus. But then during the year, I'm primarily responsible for overseeing our Living Learning Communities program and also all of our residential fun social programming that we have going on throughout the year. So.
If you guys could also talk a little bit about housing assignments, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can share a little bit about kind of where we are in the process now. Today we'll be sending out learning community assignments to all incoming first year students. So that's whether you're placed in a living learning community or the common good learning community, which are the two paths that fulfill the learning community requirement within our first year student curriculum. So you'll be learning more about that today. And then at the same time, when we send out that message, we'll be opening our roommate request process. So if you are intending to request a specific roommate or want to search for roommates, you'll have the opportunity to do that. So you'll be getting an email that's a little bit long today, but we encourage you to read it carefully because there's a lot of important instructions on there for next steps. So lots of information there. And then once we get to the end of July, towards the end of July, we'll send out your full housing assignment, which will include your residence hall placement, your roommate, and your room number. So that's kind of the timeline you can expect to be receiving some communications from us. And then after that, we'll share more information about move-in, arrival, things like that. So a lot of times we have a lot of questions about like what can we bring, what should we have, what do we need, and we have a lot of really good information on our Residence Life website. So also recommend just clicking through that page for all of the important information.
I can add that link to the slides. Ben, if you have that link,
Yeah.
if we could just copy and paste that in the chat, I can also add it to the slides before I send them out. Ben or Zoe, I just have two questions. And then of course, if students, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. The first question you said is you're going to be sending out communications today.
Yes.
Which email are you sending that
Yeah,
out to?
St. Thomas email only.
Yes.
So all of our communications moving forward will only go to your St. Thomas email. So if you are not checking that, it's time. It's time to start checking it regularly.
And then, yes, that was a really important point I wanted to make. And I was actually going to ask Amanda about that, but I think now is the time to start making it a habit to check your St. Thomas email. Amanda, do you want to say anything about that?
You all got an email just this week saying it's time to check your St. Thomas email. So good timing reminder. You all received the email to your personal emails about that. Many of you also just changed your personal emails from a high school email to a Gmail or something like that. We'll still use that sometimes in our office just to make sure, but we're going to start emailing your St. Thomas email. Our office might email on both of them just to make sure you see it. But anything from Residence Life or orientation and registration or any other department, St. Thomas email only. So make sure you check it.
And then, yeah, Ben, I just had one more question. Do you want to speak just a little bit about the living learning communities?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have kind of two path options for students to fulfill, like I mentioned, the learning community requirement in the first year experience. So the first is the living learning communities, which are kind of theme-based communities where students with similar academic majors or interests live together in the same residence hall, on the same floor or wing, and then take a course in that academic area together. And then the faculty that teach that course also plan some specialized events that are kind of focused on career, experiential learning, connected to that academic interest. So that's one option is the living learning communities. And then the other option is the common good learning community, or the CGLC is what we call it. That path is a little bit more general, so it's not necessarily connected to an academic theme or major, but it's built within the core curriculum at the University of St. Thomas. So students in the CGLC will take courses that are connected to the core, like theology, philosophy, English, where the faculty have designated a theme of the course is the common good, by our definition of the common good at the University of St. Thomas. So those are kind of the two path options. The LLCs are assigned to specific residence halls. So if you are assigned to an LLC today, you'll know what residence hall you're living in. The CGLC students can live across all four of our first year residential communities. So you won't actually know what hall you're assigned to if you're in the CGLC until the end of July. So we used information collected on the housing preference form where you kind of ranked your preferences for learning communities and residence hall placements to make those learning community assignments. Quick plug, if you haven't done your housing preference form yet, it's now closed, but we would rather you still complete it, even if it's late, so that we can collect that important information for us to make your housing assignment. So if you try to log into our housing portal, you won't be able to access the form, but you just need to reach out to us via email to open the form for you. So if you don't remember doing that, please just reach out to us so we can make sure we get that open for you. And yeah, we try our best to get every student into their first choice learning community assignment, but we do have some living learning communities that are a little bit more popular and we reach our maximum capacity for. So you may get your email today and not be assigned to your first choice preference, but know that both paths and options are really great options with built-in support to kind of support your first year transition. So just know we do our best to get everybody into their first choice, but it's not always a possibility.
And if you have any questions for Ben or Zoe about residence life, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we do have the email on the screen here, reslife@stthomas.edu, if you do have any questions. We also shared the link in the chat. So like Ben said, click through that. There's a lot of information about living on campus, and then like what you can have in your actual residence halls, what's not allowed, what is allowed. So if you have questions, the best place to be would start out by contacting Residence Life. Ben, Zoe, thank you so much for joining us. All right, we've given you a lot of information this morning, but we have a few more things to share before we get to our current students. So I am going to turn it over to Amanda and Laura for F1 visa reminders. Amanda?
Hey, great. Laura's on here too. Laura, many of you have met recently because she is the visa queen. But we want to remind you, you need to tell us when you get your visa or when you schedule your visa appointment. Many of you have also gotten WhatsApp messages from us. Thank you for the many of you who replied to emails and WhatsApp messages. In your application portal, you can also record this information when you have a date for your appointment and the outcome of the date. We are tracking this very, very carefully because if you don't get a visa, you can't come. And we want to make sure you can come here. And all your class registration, your housing, everything relies on you coming here. So we're tracking this very carefully. If you are somebody who has a question when you're filling out your DS-160 or just wants some help, or wants to do a visa prep call. Many of you on this call have already done that with us. Please ask. We're very happy to do this with you on Zoom. We can help you get more comfortable answering the questions. We can help you with any DS-160 questions. Whatever you want, please ask. It never hurts to get extra help preparing for such an important thing. If you are somebody who is from a country currently closed, so Uganda, DRC come to mind, chat with us. We obviously can't fix it, but we support you. We're here. We're hoping for the best. But let us know if you need anything at all. Laura, anything to add?
Yeah, I would just add if you are unable to get an interview appointment date, maybe the earliest date is after the August 29th start date. Maybe you are interviewing, maybe you have an interview date scheduled for November or December. Don't stress at this point. I know it's mid-June, but still don't stress. I think a lot of embassies around the world will be opening up interview appointment slots over the next couple of weeks. If you are unable to schedule an interview date, though, or an earlier date doesn't become available, then let Amanda or John or I know. We can not request an expedite for you, but we can certainly, depending on the country where you are interviewing, help you, write a great statement to hopefully, I don't know, increase your chances of getting that expedite request approved. Doesn't guarantee you a visa, but hopefully it'll help you get an earlier interview appointment slot. And then next slide, Tina, about social media. Yeah, do you want to cover this, Tina? Sorry, I didn't know you jotted things down.
This is what we shared last year.
Okay.
So if it's changed, Amanda, Laura, please let me know and I can change the slides.
It didn't change. It's
So
more advice that Laura specifically has about the second to last point about making your profile public. Laura, when should they make it public and when should they stop making it public?
At least 3 business days before your interview. So if that means you are interviewing on a Monday, your social media accounts need to be made public before Wednesday of the week prior. Friday is a public holiday here in the United States. That means yesterday they should have been turned to public. Okay. So it's 3 business days beforehand. And I would recommend that you keep your social media profiles public until after your visa is issued and your passport and your visa are back in your hands. And then turn them back to private, and that's fine. But everything needs to be made public. I think my other suggestion on here is the DS-160 application is asking for your social media accounts that you have created within the last 5 years. If you created them but you don't use them, I would still include those on your DS-160 application. All right, just include everything. If there is a platform that you use that's not listed on the drop-down menu, there's a section of creating other or adding other platforms that you use: TikTok, Snapchat, other ones that maybe I've never heard of, but maybe unique to your country. All of those need to be listed on that DS-160 application. And what we are seeing last year and this year continued is that visa officers are obviously vetting social media after your interview appointment date. Okay. So if they want to approve your visa, they're going to give you a 221G refusal letter. It's a soft refusal. As long as they verify your social media or vet your social media, you might be asked to provide additional information. Yep. Just like this. They will probably end up giving you an approval after they've vetted your social media, but they might ask you to submit your social media accounts via email also after your interview appointment, and that's also very normal. Okay, so this is an example of a statement that we are seeing. It's going to say refused. I think it's important to look at the case last updated date. So if your interview was a month ago and it's updated today and it still says refused, then you most likely were denied your visa. Okay, 221 or 214B. But let us know if you've got questions or concerns about this. So
don't freak out if you see this right away.
Correct. This is totally normal.
Be patient. It's normal. The wording is not a great choice, if we're being honest, but it's normal. It's okay. You were not denied. Just wait.
Yep. Good luck.
And again, if you do have any questions about this part, I think it would be a good idea to reach out to Amanda, John, Laura, your admissions counselor, Hien, or Anju. And like Amanda said, if you have questions about the process, the interview, things like that, just reach out. Okay. All right. If anybody has any questions, again, they're always free to type it in the chat or unmute themselves. But if nobody has questions, we'll just move right along. So before you even come to St. Thomas, there's a ton of different portals that you're going to be hearing about and starting to use and get comfortable with. One of them is your application portal, which you've already been using. Most of you should have already logged into the OISS portal at some point. This is where you request your I-20 and then also upload documents for your I-20. But the OISS portal is very important because you'll use it as a current student. when you need things like a travel signature, when you need to do all kinds of things in terms of your F1 visa status, you'll use the portal. So this is something that you'll hear us refer to a lot, the OISS portal. One St. Thomas is something that you're also going to hear a lot about. It's kind of our intranet at St. Thomas. You can only access it if you're a St. Thomas, a member of the St. Thomas community, so staff, faculty, student, things like that. Within One St. Thomas is something called Canvas, and I really wanted to talk about this today because it's relevant for a lot of different things. I'm going to skip over to the next slide. I don't think we have to talk too much about this unless Amanda, nope, we're good. Okay. We've already talked a little bit about this. So for the OISS portal, I did not update the photo, and I'm so sorry because our system just changed. It updated to a brand new, beautiful interface. I didn't upload the photo, but OISS at stthomas.edu hasn't changed. This is where you request your I-20, or if you're a transfer student, you'll be requesting your transfer in request. So I just wanted to remind you that this is here, and this is a portal that you'll use a lot while you're a student at St. Thomas. Okay, so what I also wanted to do is just really quickly talk to you about Canvas because I mentioned this already, but like I said, you have your international student orientation module, which you'll need to complete. You also have an orientation and registration module that you'll need to complete, which is run by the University of St. Thomas. All undergrads will take this course. And these are new courses that you'll be enrolled in, or you should have already have been enrolled in, and you'll see these when you log in to Canvas. Canvas is also really important because all grades, all materials for your courses will be posted here. Once you're registered in your courses, you'll find your syllabi or syllabus for each course posted. So each course will have a little tab, right? And where you'll access a lot of your assignments and class information. I'm sure Bao and Sophie can talk about their experience with Canvas. It's very important, right, Bao? Can I call on you, Bao? How often do you use Canvas, Bao?
I say every day. Like I do a lot of
Multiple
homework in there. Yeah.
multiple times a day too,
Yeah.
right? Good. Okay, so this is just one of those portals that you're going to have to become really familiar with because a lot of information, even before you come to St. Thomas, will be shared here. And so, for example, I mentioned the O&R session. I mentioned the International Student Orientation, which is us. And then you'll also have a Tommy Tech module, which will introduce you to all the tech stuff on campus. Okay. Good. If you have any questions about Canvas, please let us know. And then I did want to just mention one thing too. When you're logging into your St. Thomas accounts, oftentimes you'll need to use the Microsoft Authenticator. It can be a little bit annoying, but in order to access your accounts, you'll have to prove your identity. And so multi-factor authentication can be a little bit frustrating at times. So if you have questions, the first place to reach out would be techdesk@stthomas.edu. TechDesk will also join us during orientation. So if you have any questions or you're having trouble, they'll also be joining us during International Student Orientation. But what I just wanted to mention is as you start exploring your different accounts, or I'm sorry, your different portals, and you're having some issues, Tech Desk would be a great place to reach out to. Amanda, did you want to say anything? I just saw you unmute yourself.
Oh, I was just going to add, if you change your phone, many of you do that either when you arrive or sometimes when you go home or whatever, you have to do it in person to fix it with Tech Desk because it's a protection privacy thing unless you have both your phones in your hand. This is a very common question. We can fix it. It's okay. You just need to get on Zoom or be in person. So just a heads up. Know it's coming if you're going to change your phone.
Yeah. We've all had to do it. I've had to do it at least once at St. Thomas, actually go to the tech desk and have them get me back access to my accounts. Okay, so speaking of accounts and tech, one way to stay super updated. Oh my goodness, I made a typing error. I'm so sorry. One way to stay updated is to follow our International Admissions Instagram and our OISS Instagram for lots of events that will be happening, that are happening now, important updates. Following the Res Life Instagram is also a great place to stay updated. You can see virtual tours, you can see what some of the residence halls are going to look like. You'll see a lot of events that Residence Life hosts. And then, of course, there's the main University of St. Thomas Instagram, which we always encourage you to follow. They post a lot of great stories, updates, posts, just to help you stay engaged and connected with the community before you get here. And then I'm so sorry, I should have written class of 2030, um, but they also have a page where you can see kind of who some of your classmates are going to be. And then I do just want to encourage you, this last note is really important. If you don't have WhatsApp, please download it. We are going to be using it for those of you that are going to be picked up for airport pickup on Saturday, August 29th. The office WhatsApp is going to be how we coordinate with you. So please download and set up WhatsApp if you haven't already. That would be a big tip. I think that would be really important for you to do. So this is just a list of social media pages that we think would be helpful for you to follow. Okay, some important dates. July 15th, 2026, the same time as pre-arrival call 3. And again, you can go to that website and register. If you have any issues with that, just let us know. July 23rd is the first year orientation, which is virtual. July 28th is the transfer orientation. August 12th is our final pre-arrival call. So we're going to go through a lot of important things like airport pickup, what to pack, kind of what you should know when you're entering the US at your first port of entry, all that kind of stuff. And then the big day that you should have starred and circled and highlighted on your calendars is August 29th, which is arrival day. This is also airport pickup day. We'll talk about airport pickup a little bit in the next call, but our airport pickup link is live on our orientation page. So if you want to just take a look, please fill that out. Even if you're not arriving, even if you don't need airport pickup, maybe you're already here or you're arriving early with family or something, we'd love for you to fill it out so that we know what your plan is coming to campus. That way we can help you coordinate your student ID, move in, things like that. Okay, so you'll be able to fill out the arrival form once you know your arrival details. And then just a reminder, on August 29th, Saturday, August 29th, we do offer airport pickup, but it's only for that Saturday, and we're only able to accommodate students arriving from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. At night. Okay, and again, if you have questions, please reach out. We're happy to discuss them with you.
Just have a quick point to add. I'm sorry, Tina.
Yeah, no, it's go ahead.
Many of you have been emailing asking, do I have to arrive the 29th? Can I arrive a different day? No, you have to come on the 29th. If you choose of your own choice to arrive a couple days early, you cannot move into campus until the 29th. You can come a couple days early, but you need to find somewhere to stay. We can advise you if you need some information, but you need to move in on the 29th. You cannot come late. That is not allowed, basically. I mean, sometimes emergencies happen, of course, but you're immediately going to be doing required orientation when you get here. So you cannot arrive late. If your flight gets delayed, that happens, right? We know, we'll help you. But please make sure you are planning to arrive on Saturday when everyone else is coming. What's up, Hongmei?
Hi, Amanda. Thank
Hi,
you.
Hongmei.
So yeah, you're talking about like late arrival. I have a question. If we arrive early, like earlier than 29, for example, 28.
Yeah, you can't move into campus yet. So we can give you a suggestion of somewhere to stay, like a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that. But that is your responsibility if you choose to arrive early. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. So we cannot store our luggages and stuff either.
Nope.
Okay,
It's like
thank
you're
you.
coming on your own kind of thing, and then we'll
Yeah.
obviously see you the
Okay,
next
thank you.
day. But yes.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. Again, if you have questions, you're always welcome to type it in the chat. Just get in contact with us. Okay. So we have 2 more slides, and then I'm going to turn it over to the International current international students. Next call, we'll talk about things like textbooks, other things you can buy when you get here. We'll talk about move-in, orientation, and welcome days. We'll talk about paying your bills and your student account. We'll talk about health services, your student ID, and then just some questions that you have as we get closer to move-in. I have one last thing I'm going to share with you before I turn it over to students. Some universities and colleges in the Twin Cities and around Minnesota are hosting a virtual welcome event on Wednesday, July 8th from 8 to 9:30. Again, I know it's not the best timing, but we're trying to accommodate students from all over. It'll be about an hour, hour and a half. You're going to have a chance to learn more about your new home, the Twin Cities. You'll also get a chance to connect with other college students that'll be attending places like the University of Minnesota, St. Paul College, Concordia, all of the colleges that are kind of within the area. So it'd be really cool if you could connect with students that maybe are from your country or region of the world. And then you just get to learn about Minnesota. Like we'll talk about winter because winter is super cold in Minnesota, but we'll also talk about all of the really fun things to do in the Twin Cities, which I heard Minnesota was just ranked the best place to live in the nation. So yay. I mean, that's true, right, guys? Those of you in Minnesota, we agree. So if you want to join this is free. I'll be there, so there'll be a familiar face. It's just a really fun opportunity for you to join and hear about what it's going to be like to live here. And if you have any questions about living in the area, they'll cover all that kind of information. So this is Wednesday, July 8th from 8:30 to 9:30. When I send this out, you'll get the sign up link and then you just enter your information and you'll get a Zoom link. Okay, so Bao, Sophie, and Asha, the moment you've all been waiting for. I have two questions for you. The first one would be, what advice do you have for our new incoming international students? Don't speak all at once.
I got you.
Thanks, Sophie.
Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of advice, but
Yeah.
I'll keep it brief.
Okay.
Definitely one of the biggest thing that I tell everyone that reaches out to me is to not stress about thinking you have to bring everything with you. Because I know we're gonna be going over packing the next pre-arrival call, but I know when I was in your shoes, I was panicking. I was like, no, I want to know now. I want to know right now. What do I need to bring? What do I need to do? Just know that you're going in a very like everything's available. Like you can get a lot of things that you think are absolutely impossible to find. You will be able to find it. So what I recommend is like pack things that remind you of home, things that bring you comfort, clothes that you love, or like just pieces of things to decorate your room. You can tell I brought my tapestry. Like it's just because it's a personal item to me. So definitely bring stuff that reminds you of home and brings you comfort because everything else you can sort out here. And there's thrift shops too that like make it real cheap. So just relax when it comes to packing.
Thanks, Sophie. Bao, you
Yeah.
have anything you want to add? Advice for incoming students?
I think the most important thing is to, use all of the resources that are available on campus. Like sometimes you feel like confused and you don't know what to do. Like we here for you and you always like you need to ask question and then we can help you. Yeah.
Yeah, and even if you don't know where to go or what to do, you can always stop by the office and we can kind of point you in the direction you need to go. If we can't help you, we can at least tell you kind of where you need to go, right? Asha, what about you? Do you have any advice for incoming international students?
The number one thing I say is just have an open mind and have an open mind, do new experiences, go to different events. When you guys first come, there's a whole week called Welcome Week that's just like packed filled with activities for a first year student. So I encourage you guys to go to it, even though you might be jet lagged. Go to it for 5 to 10 minutes and you'll meet so many new people there. So highly encourage you to stay open, stay connected.
Is there anything that you learned or that you remember about the first few days or weeks on campus that you'd like to share?
Oh
Anything
my
that,
God, yeah. I mean, I was just talking to some of my friends. They we realized like we met each other during that first week of school and now we're good friends. So like we did headphone disco together, we went to Mall of America together. And for those international students that I connected with, I had a lot of friends who already graduated who are international, but now we're connected. And if I need to go to France or wherever, I have friends that can be like, oh my God, you should come here. And I'll do what I did for them, but they'll show me like France or wherever they're from to me. So it's really nice. And you get to meet so many people from everywhere.
Wow, Sophie, you have any things that you remember from those first few days or weeks when you're tired and overwhelmed and hot? Because Minnesota at the end of August is really hot.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, it kind of adds on to what Asha just said. It's
Sure.
like you 100% like need to just go out of your comfort zone. The good thing is that everyone's out of their comfort zone. So it's not just you. Like I kind of like came into St. Thomas and I was like, uh-oh, I'm a little girl from Italy and no one's gonna know, and then it's like, yeah, but everyone's a little person from somewhere. And so it doesn't matter because you're all in the same boat. You're all coming from different countries. And the local students, when they come on campus, like, they're coming from different high schools. They don't know what they're doing either. So it's like go to events, it's gonna be awkward the first like 5 minutes. And then you're gonna be like, oh, you're actually super nice. And then you have a friend. Like I have a really tight friend group that has gone on road trips, we've gone places, we've gone to concerts together, we've made super big experiences, and we literally met at the first bonfire of the welcome days. So it's no joke. Definitely, you are all in the same boat. Don't be scared to like step out a little bit.
Thank you so much. Um, Bao, anything you can think about?
Like when I was in Vietnam, I didn't think that I can talk to like people from different countries. But like when I came here, I think I met Sophia on like the first day, and then we we've been talking like we talk a lot,
That's
and
so
then
true.
yeah, and then we've been friends. I was not that close, but
Yeah,
like
but like
we've
we
been
knew each
friends.
other.
Yeah. But we were friends, and then we share a lot about our experiences and then our hobbies. Yeah. And I think it's a nice experience, and we just enjoy the orientation week. Yeah.
We ended up having the same math exam like
Yeah.
this semester, and we just kind of sat outside, like kind of pondering life together. We were like, oh my gosh, remember when we met? And then we were like, okay, bye, gotta go math exam.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great.
Those of you on the call, we do have a couple of minutes left. Do you have any questions for Sophie, Asha, Bao, or even just the staff members who are on the call? If you're shy and you don't want to say it, you can type it in the chat. Otherwise, you can simply unmute yourself. It looks like we do have a question. So somebody asked, how can I register for classes? Great question. You will receive your class schedule at the end of July. If you're a transfer student, you'll have to reach out to academic counseling, and I can get that email to you. You'll have to reach out to academic counseling to register for your classes, but if you're a first-time first year, you will be registered in classes and you will get that information at the end of July. Okay. I'm gonna do my best to pronounce your name, so I'm so sorry. Is it Tigran?
Yep, that's
Right?
correct.
Great. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just had a few quick questions.
Okay.
For general transportation, like around the city, for example, if you want to go to a grocery store or whatever around the city,
Yep.
is there like some sort of a transportation card you get, or do you have to use campus shuttles? How does it work in general?
That's a great question. Sophie Bao, do you want to take the lead or do you want me to answer this one? Asha, what do you got? Do you want me to do
I
it?
can answer if
Sophie,
needed.
yeah. Go ahead.
And then we can kind of add on to it. Yeah, so transportation is really cool. We have a free shuttle that goes from the St. Paul campus to the Minneapolis campus. And it runs, I believe, every like 20 minutes, something like that. And so that takes you to the Minneapolis campus, and you will actually be seeing that in orientation. But next to the campus, there is a Target. And so you can go and do your groceries there. There's also Aldi's that is a little cheaper, and you can take the bus route that isn't campus, but it's like the bus that goes here. It's $2 per ticket, and it's literally a straight line. And you just take the bus, and it takes you to Aldi's. You can do your groceries and come back. Another thing people do when it's a little like nicer, like during the spring or the summer, is people take like their bikes, like they'll go like on a bike and then they'll go and get stuff. Maybe not for big groceries. And another thing is like you will make friends with people who have cars. So if anything, like you can say like, hey, let's do a grocery run, and then people will be like, okay, I can drive, and then there'll be like five people piled into a car and you go, safely, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to get to places.
I do want to mention too about, like you said, bicycles. There's a place on campus to rent bicycles. You just have to show your student ID. You can also you can either use your phone or you can purchase a card from the bookstore. You can get a Metro Transit card, which is our bus system here in the Twin Cities. And you can basically get to a lot of different places you need to go. And then, of course, Uber, Lyft are always options. Obviously, those are a bit more pricey than the bus, but those options exist as well. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. And we will go to the downtown Minneapolis campus. And so there's a lot there as well. Okay, what else? Do we have any other questions right now? Sophia, you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question to
Great.
Amanda.
Okay.
If I already updated the person through WhatsApp about my visa situation,
Oh, I
should I
got you
still do
down.
it? Okay,
Very
you
excited for
already
you.
have it. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
you answered, so I'm happy. Thanks. Be like Sophia, everybody. Answer about your visa. Thanks, Sophia.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tigran, you have another question?
Yep, it's just I mean, it's probably going to be covered in future orientation sessions as well, but
Sure.
generally, like, what in the standard rooms, what is just like in there? For example, the standard commodities, for example, I don't know, a lamp, a desk, whatever. And also, in the adapters question, most of us are probably going to need to bring, for example, adapters to be able to actually plug in all of our devices. Would you recommend, for example, for us to get the adapters back home or to wait till we come to the US and then get them there?
I'm gonna let Sophia, Bao, and Asha answer the first question, which is about what does the room come with?
Yeah, the room, I mean, I don't mean to like take everything. If you guys want to answer, like, please. The room's pretty standard, comes with a bed. In the first year you get the lofted beds that you can de-loft. So you gotta like ask Residence Life to give you like a little hammer, and you like bring it down. It's really chill process. You just need a couple friends. It comes with a desk, a chair, and then depending on which hall you are in, it may come with a closet, or other halls have like a kind of like walled closet where it's like a hanging thing on the wall. And then you get a dresser. If you're in Tommy North, you get a slightly wider closet, so you don't get a dresser. But it adds up to the same space. And then you get like kind of like a side piece for your desk that has a lock where you can put all your like valuables in. And then like usually there's like drawers in your desk.
Yeah.
Anything? I don't think so. Yeah.
Because you get literally the bare minimum.
The
So
bare minimum,
you're
yeah.
not gonna get sheets, you're not gonna get pillows or blankets.
Or lamps.
Or lamps. So I really tell students like you don't need to bring that. Save that space for some other stuff in your suitcase.
And that's a great point too, because Residence Life will have temporary bedding for
Yeah.
you, but you'll need to purchase bedding when you arrive, which is why we're going to Target on Sunday afternoon. And then I think on Tuesday we'll have another opportunity to go. And then, of course, if you and your friends want to explore and go on your own, that's fine too, once Welcome Day starts. But we'll provide an opportunity for you to go and get some bedding as well. But yeah, your rooms just come with kind of the basics. And of course, if you refer back to that Res Life website, it'll also tell you what you can and what you cannot have in your rooms. Amanda, did you want to add anything?
don't bring your own bedding. The bed sizes
Yeah.
are twin XL here, and
Mhm.
every store under the sun is selling very cheap, cute twin XL
Yeah.
sheets and stuff because every store knows all the students are going to college. So that's why we take you. It's really cheap. Just plan to get it when you're here. But if you have questions about that beforehand, please just ask one of your admissions counselors.
And Tigran, I think there was a second question you had, but I forgot. Do you
About
mind
the
if I repeat?
adapters.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I know what my friends did was once they came here, they kind of placed like an Amazon order for like the American adapters. You can bring one from home, but it's just extra space. But if you just place it online and then have it sent to St. Thomas, and when you do that, or for any packages, just use the St. Thomas address. So whether that's Amazon or any clothing or whatever, use the St. Thomas the mailing address, and they'll have it in the bookstore where you can pick it up. So that's what a lot of my friends did, so they didn't have to worry about it when they came. They ordered it a couple days before they arrived, and it's there when they come.
I brought a international plug. You guys know the ones that are like a strip and it just has like and you can plug anything in it. I brought the one from home, so it had the plug from home, and then I just got a little adapter, like a tiny one, just plugged that in. And so I had one adapter that connected to an international strip. That is because I have plugs from so many types of like places in the world. So I struggled with that, but like I feel like an international plug comes in clutch because then you just kind of plug that in and you're good.
You can get them at Target too when you go. So if you just show up and you forget, it's okay. They sell them there too.
Yeah, they're cheap. You can get them cheap.
All right, everyone. I want to be mindful of everyone's time, so we are a couple minutes past. If you do have any questions, please please, I can't speak this morning. Please feel free to reach out to us. I know that the students shared their contact information in the chat, so jot those down if you want to follow them on Instagram or send them an email. But if you do have questions about the upcoming months, just reach out. We're happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We will post this recording to YouTube, and then I will also be sending you the slides. Just let us know. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a good night, good evening, wherever you are, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the next pre-arrival call. Okay? Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.